biggest fan of the Winklevoss twins, or as they've been referred to, the Winklevi. They're definitely key players in the cryptocurrency space right now. Difficult to ignore when these guys are making headlines. So what we're going to be talking about in this video, Gemini's Winklevoss twins believe Bitcoin's future lies in regulation. And we've seen these guys have had this pretty dramatic advertising campaign where they've basically been, you go on a subway and you see, New York, these Winklevoss guys are putting it out there into the mainstream that cryptocurrency is the future. Now, whether or not you agree with the Winklevoss twins, whether or not, like I said, whether you're their biggest fan or, whether you just don't care about them, it's definitely, they're a force in the cryptocurrency space. And obviously, this is kind of funny. Just like Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, the founders of venture firm Winklevoss Capital and cryptocurrency trading platform Gemini, have watched about 1/3 of their crypto net worth evaporate over the past 2 months. Forbes estimates that each has crypto riches worth about 600 and 700 million. Which is a big chunk of change. So when we see someone, these guys, obviously very reputable individuals putting themselves out there now as advocates of cryptocurrency, it is something to be said. Now, obviously, these guys are not going to flip on their position when it comes to cryptocurrency. Ever since these guys missed out on, pretty much Zuckerberg pulled the rug out from under them on the whole Facebook thing, it seems like they're getting ready to cash in on Bitcoin. But what's going to happen is these guys are trying to get in on the regulatory aspect of things, which is it's smart. If you're the one who's regulating it, then you stand to have all the levers and such. And I see it as a pretty interesting indicator of the future of cryptocurrency. There's plenty of different celebrities who've put themselves on the chopping block and are essentially interconnected with the inevitable reputation of cryptocurrency. Because do you think if Bitcoin was going to have a salty future in front of it, I'd imagine that these Winklevoss guys would be trying to get themselves as far away from cryptocurrency as possible. But of course, we see them, always taking the different opportunities to warm themselves up to the cryptocurrency space, which is also an interesting sign of what we can expect to see moving forward. So this article right here, Bitcoin evangelists and Gemini founders Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss believe cryptocurrency has a quote bright future, giving banking style regulations are applied to the Bridgestone sector. In an interview with Fortune on January 13th, the Winklevi noted the current market conditions of the cryptocurrency space are impending growth for the industry's development. The twins are notable for their work in shaping the sector, primarily from their efforts in founding the Gemini exchange. All right, so why is this relevant? Well, first of all, I want to prefix what we're going to be talking about in this video with a lot of the analysis that I've been seeing. People have been saying that this trend right now is basically going to be the trend all through 2019. Now, I don't personally subscribe to this way of thinking, but of course, you look at I mean, the different variables as they are, the volume being what it is. I mean, Bitcoin dominance where it's at. It's definitely something that I'm not going to ignore. Personally, I think it's also something to be said. We're starting to see, I mean, if you want to look at the overall how Bitcoin has been performing in 2019, we've seen various retributions, and of course, you know, kingdoms rise and fall in the cryptocurrency space every single day. But I think that it's also interesting when these guys are making a point to get themselves positioned in a way that's going to be realistically giving themselves some leverage as far as, I mean, when the bulls start running, everybody's pretty much going to be solidified in the positions that you've taken up. And of course, the thing about these markets, like the ones that we're seeing, well, Bitcoin's going to be cheap, you know, at $3,677. Basically, it's going to be really cheap and affordable until it's not, and then that tends to be the time when people really want to get in. So when we want to talk about what these guys actually mean, I mean, as far as I mean, this is mass adoption in the making. You know, a regulated cryptocurrency brokerage, you know, talking about Gemini in 2014, launched related services under the Gemini banner, such as custodial offerings and a stablecoin product. Earlier last week, on the 10th anniversary of Bitcoin, the twins took out a full-page advertisement in the New York Times promoting the Gemini exchange and its newly launched mobile app, close on the heels of rival exchange BitMEX. They have also launched a campaign aimed at educating and spreading awareness of Bitcoin to the masses, and hopefully gain some users for Gemini. Crypto without chaos, basically. Hey, this is also a good opportunity for me to basically tell you guys about the volatility aspect of things. Now, I know that there's people who are still trading back in 2017, people who are buying the dips, but of course, buying the dips doesn't necessarily work when the market just keeps getting knocked on its ass. So new fiat pairs with Binance, Coinbase. Yeah, that's an interesting point to make there as well. But I mean, so Americans lost 1.7 billion trading Bitcoin in 2018, and more than half don't know, you know, if they can claim a loss. You know, interesting. You know, that's why you got to do your research. I mean, it's always interesting to see people come into this space and just spend all their, you know, buying up some Bitcoin without even doing any work. But this is something also very interesting. The transaction settlement network is a sleeping giant. More people should be talking about this. And, you know, basically you guys can do the math. This is an interesting piece of information right here. Bitcoin's revenue multiples. So Bitcoin is a sleeping giant. This feels weird to write because of how much coverage there has been of the NASA set. But hear me out. There are two components to Bitcoin. Number one, the digital asset that can be held by investors, and number two, the transaction settlement network that is run by miners. This article goes into saying almost all of the press coverage to date has been focused on the digital asset, with very little attention being paid to the transaction settlement network. The network has quality grown into one of the most interesting yada yada, technology, finance. So trading networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Visa, and MasterCard are run by centralized companies. This is what I wanted to get into. So, I mean, I'm sure these the Winklevoss twins, I'm sure these guys are laughing their ass off seeing all the different problems that old Zuckerbot has, basically the storm that he's made for himself which is pretty hilarious. The fact of the matter is, the centralized components of Facebook and all these things are eventually going to be their undoing. I mean, whether or not they're seeking to adapt to the times, I think remains to be seen. So Beckett's acquisition might help crypto. So I mean, we're seeing Wall Street and all these different players have been having their interest in cryptocurrency. All this definitely does play into I mean, what we've been seeing happening with Russia. I mean, Russia, all these different players who have been recognizing cryptocurrency for what it eventually could amount to. XRP could end up anyway within 3 years. I mean, miners take money out of crypto space. They sell BTC to pay taxes and electricity bill. Yeah, I mean, this has been a rough. It's kind of like my theory right now is that we're entering a period where I mean, the people who want to fill their bags want to get it at the cheapest price possible. So I mean, I wanted to make this video just to basically cover the Winklevoss stuff, but also I think that it's important for people to realize that there's always going to be people out there trying to get your dirty laundry. There's people out there who are in the know about where these things are going to go, and they're obviously there's a lot of money behind it. I mean, it is the future of money. So I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. And I just say, enjoy the volatility while you've got it. I mean, ADA, you gonna do very well in the future. Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and we could hash it out about any of these cryptos, but I think it's just important to see what these guys are actually doing, in terms of regulations and stuff, and the concept of Bitcoin as the first scarce digital asset. I think that people need to realize exactly what that means. A scarce digital asset is I mean, it's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like that before. So it's going to take some time for people to get acquainted with, these different things as they are fleshed out. But, at the risk of, repeating myself, I mean, in 10 years, I mean, if you could imagine bear in mind, obviously a lot of stuff happened in between it, but from $0 to $3,000, I mean, there's got to be something there. I mean, I could go over the old talking points about Bitcoin here, but I'm not going to waste anybody's time. For the most part, it is an interesting space to see these different developments as they've been taking place, right in front of our eyes. And of course, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is no exception. So, I mean, we're looking at some very interesting developments in the space. I mean, New Zealand crypto exchange Cryptopia goes offline. I mean, obviously prone to all these different bad actors and stuff, but basically, I know you guys want to hear my theory and my analysis. I'm going to save that for the end. But Grind goes live. This was also an article I wanted to discuss. So Grind, a cryptocurrency that leverages the MIMDLB private technology, has just gone live on mainnet, named after the tongue-tying Curse and Harry Potter book series. Mimbled is a protocol. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Is a protocol that fuses transactions together such that they are indiscriminable, even in public digital ledgers. I mean, you guys can go and read that article for yourself, but it is interesting to see. I mean, how these things are overlapping, but anyway, I mean, as far as my analysis goes, I mean, I expect things to get worse before they get better. I mean, I've said this multiple times, but of course, we're going to need regulations, in the space, and I mean, that's also something to be said, about how these Winklevoss have been positioning themselves. But I mean, it is all history in the making. So whether or not it takes place in 2019 or whether we have to wait some time to see, you know, these different things taking place. I mean, I guess only time will tell. Really, nobody knows, and nobody could tell you whether or not we're going to see a bull run or a bear market. But it is interesting to see these people who have been making this analysis, you know, these various different statements talking about how you know, crypto could be setting. I mean, right now, the patterns that we're seeing developing in the overall price, you know, the price action, it could be setting the trend for 2019, and it is looking that way, but you know, let's hope not. I'm hoping for this to be the year, but of course these things do have a tendency to have to crawl before they can walk, and you know, when regulations and all these different banks and so forth are all connected into this stuff, you know, intertwined, everybody's got to get theirs first, you know, and it's understandable. You know, a lot of stuff needs to happen, and yeah, so some cryptos that I'm interested in, I mean, XRP in particular, with what they're doing, you know, involving the banks, it certainly has my attention. I mean, XRP and Ethereum, definitely. EOS, Stellar. I'm interested in seeing how Tron's going to fare up. Cardano, certainly interested in Cardano. That's definitely on my top 10. I mean, as far as cryptos that I'm paying attention to, Monero, the privacy crypto, I still have faith in privacy cryptos, and of course, I mean, I want to include Digibyte on that list as well. Very interested in seeing where Digibyte's going to take us, and of course, I recently made a video talking about my opinions on Apollo, and of course, Apollo's been having a very interesting run lately. I mean, now on its way to, you know, a few fractions of a cent, which is pretty remarkable considering, and of course Apollo being in the number 159 ranking position at the current time of making this video. But yeah, all that being said, you guys, I think we've covered a lot today. I mean, it's interesting, you know, Winklevoss twins launch campaign to bring rules, quote unquote rules, into the cryptocurrency revolution. Now, nobody likes this, but I mean, it's just something that we're gonna have to deal with. All that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Obviously, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. You know, I'm not an advisor and all this stuff. You know, and hopefully you guys found this informative. Have a nice day.